In the Apple platform, we have a lot of different frameworks. So some of the frameworks that we have, you've heard of, is the UI Kit, and we have Foundation, and so many others. But now we have been talking about SwiftUI as another framework in the Apple platform. Now, what is a framework? A framework is just a bunch of libraries that allow users, in this case developers, to leverage the underlying operating system, in this case of the Apple platform. That's what it is. UIKit has all of these libraries, classes, and so forth that let developers invoke or leverage the user interface and then many other properties they need to create applications on that platform. In this case, Apple platform, okay? Foundation framework is another framework that it's used in conjunction with UIKit and so forth that gives us more capability, more classes, more libraries that perhaps deal with more lower level and primitive properties and classes and so forth. Now, SwiftUI, as you know by now, allows us to create user interface much easier. Now, the idea here is that SwiftUI as its own framework needs a way in which it can communicate with the UI kit. Meaning, because SwiftUI is quote unquote, I would say, is limited in so many ways, at this point, at least for now, there are things that we may want to place inside of a SwiftUI from UI kit. So the idea here is that we can borrow certain views or certain classes or certain things that UIKit provide into our SwiftUI. And this process here, at this point here, so the process of placing views from UIKit into SwiftUI is what we call UIView representable protocol. So in order for this transaction to happen, we need to embed a protocol called UIView representable. Now, the next question you may ask is, what is indeed a protocol? Because you may have heard of protocols, maybe I have mentioned in passing, and you may be confused. Protocol, what is that? Let's talk about that. Well, a protocol is some sort of a blueprint that defines methods, properties, and other requirements that suit a particular task or piece of functionality. What that means is when we look at inheritance in object-oriented programming, we may have, for instance, a person class, and then at the bottom we have a developer. Well, a developer is a person, which means will then inherit from person. In this case here, you can see there is a hierarchy of the top superclass and at the bottom subclasses, right? The children classes. So developer inherits from person. However, for more flexibility, we could create some sort of a different class, a blueprint of methods, properties, and other requirements that can be adopted by a class or a struct or a num, whatever structure that we are creating, so that those classes, it's actually required to implement those properties, methods, and so forth. In this case here, developer, we could say, well, in order for you to be a developer, because we understand you inherit from person, that's established, but in order for you to be a developer, you also have to be instructable, meaning that you have to conform to the instructable protocol, which also means that in order for you to be a developer, you have to be instructable. Otherwise, that's not going to work. What that means in code is that whenever we're creating a developer, in this case, and we conform to protocol, that just means then that I have to satisfy a certain requirement or certain requirements that our protocol may have for us. Because remember, the protocol is just a blueprint of what needs to be done. It's like a contract that says, okay, if you conform to me, if you want to be me, then you have to do these things. A developer, in order for him or she to become a developer, it has to be instructable. Instructable as a protocol, as a blueprint, will have properties, methods, and so forth that anybody who conforms to it must abide by, almost like a law. Okay, that's what a protocol is. So this now gives us a lot of flexibility because a developer could inherit from one person, of course, but a developer can also implement or conform to many different protocols. That is the beauty. So it gives us this flexibility. And notice that the protocol here has nothing to do with person or developer in many ways, right? A developer in this case could go and conform to many other protocols, likable or whatever else other protocol that may make sense for a developer. So how does this all make sense to what we are trying to do with the UIView representable? Well, this concept is the same. If we look here, the UIView representable protocol allows us to put together, for instance, we can have a class map view, and we want this map view to conform to the UIView representable protocol. So in this case here, the UIView representable, which is a protocol, will have, for instance, the make UIView method, an update UIView method, and many others methods. And it could also have properties, right? So now our map view here, because we want to take this map view and put in SwiftUI, we have to confirm to that UIView representable, because then we have to go conform to the UIView representable, because we want to be able to take advantage of the make UIView and update UIView. In fact, we have no choice. The moment we confirm to it, that means we are signing the contract so that we can do what we're supposed to do, which in this case has to be make UIView and update UIView. What that means then is that the map view would have those methods, must have those methods, or must implement those methods to actually have or add code inside of the make UIView and update UIView. And that's where we are able then to put the code that will then create the view in the make UIView and update anything inside of the view, so that then we're able to embed that into a SwiftUI. So any view that we may not have directly within SwiftUI, we can actually get all of those views from the UI kit, because it has everything, right? And for that to happen, we have to take that class we created on struct, and it has to conform to the UIView representable, because that will allow us to represent what's from UI kit into SwiftUI. So whenever you hear about me saying about a protocol, conform to a protocol and so forth, that's what it means. It just means we are taking from a defined blueprint of methods, property, and other requirements that suit a certain task or piece of functionality, right? We're putting it all there laid out, no implementation, so that anybody who wants to use or conform to us or be like us, they have to conform to us, meaning that they have to implement those methods that we are making available for them. All right, so that's it. So what we're going to do now, we're going to create a map view struct, which will conform to UIView representable, so that we can then we can create the view, the actual map, and then update that view inside of the SwiftUI view. Let's go ahead and do that.